Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to just briefly comment on my other three amendments, which I will not call up for a vote. But I think Sullivan 9 applies deadlines for certain environmental reviews under NEPA. This is a very simple, again, amendment that goes to the infrastructure that we all need in this country. Today, the average EIS is over 600 pages long, takes almost 4 years, with a quarter of EISs taking more than 6.5 years in our country. If anyone thinks that's good for building infrastructure, I would strongly disagree. My amendment simply says that environmental assessments need to be completed in 1 year, and environmental impact statements need to be completed in 2. This is what almost every other industrialized democracy does. Unfortunately, we have a permitting system that's broken. I hope that at some point I can work with my colleagues in a bipartisan way to address these important issues.
Thank you.
The second amendments that I wanted to mention briefly, Madam Chair, Sullivan 1 and Sullivan 6. This goes directly to the issue of more energy supply for America, which is what we need. Last week, the Secretary of Energy said we are doing all we can to move energy supplies to get energy to the market in America. With respect to her, Madam Chair, that's not true. Just in the last 4 weeks, in my state, the state of Alaska, the Biden administration has announced they're taking over half of the National Petroleum Reserve of Alaska off the table for any kind of development. This is an area of Alaska set aside by Congress decades ago for oil and gas drilling. It's not ANWR, it's not an area that's controversial. And yet this administration, after a visit by Secretary Holland, said that we're going to take half of this prolific energy basin in America off the table. It makes 0 sense. The Native people who live there are very supportive of this. Everybody's supportive of this. America's supportive of this. And 4 weeks ago, this administration said, nope, the biggest basin in America, we're going to cut in half, bigger than the state of Indiana. The second amendment, Sullivan 6, which is even more egregious. We have another basin of oil and gas development that has never been controversial in anyone's eyes. It's called the Cook Inlet Basin. It serves South Central Alaska with natural gas. That's all it does. It also produces oil. 2 weeks ago, this administration, with no warning to anybody, said we're going to cancel the federal lease sale in Cook Inlet. No reason. They came up with a reason that was false. They said there was, quote, no industry interest. That's fundamentally untrue. I've talked to the industry in our state. These impact the people I represent, these decisions, very negatively, and they go exactly against what the president's been saying about we're doing all we can to increase energy supply and bring down energy prices. That is not true. I see it every day in Alaska, and if I'm getting a little upset about this with my colleagues here, you can understand why. The people I represent are being targeted. This administration has issued 25 executive orders and executive actions solely focused on the great state of Alaska. 25. If any of you had a Republican administration that was doing something like that and you came to me and said, hey, Dan, could you help me? Could you tell them to lay off? I would help you.
1 minute.
This is happening daily in Alaska. It's why I get upset. I'm going to withdraw these amendments.
Thank you,
but I
Senator.
sure would appreciate some help from my colleagues on this war on my state.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
I would ask that the vote on the Klobuchar motion to pass the bill be subject to further amendment.